Hi, Katie. How are you?
Morning, Katie. How are you? Okay, so we're gonna wait another 3 minutes. Hi, Katie. Can you hear me okay? Oh.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Thanks. How are you?
Oh, good. Surviving this crazy week.
Isn't it?
Katie, do you have any requests for today?
Oh, thanks. I am having a persistent issue with this part of my arm,
Okay.
and sometimes it goes into the back of my shoulder.
Yeah.
And I did something. I left a lot of art around.
Yeah.
So my downward dogs are really hard.
Okay. That's good to know.
So if I look like weird, it's just because I'm taking the weight off this side.
Yeah, I mean, but I also, if it is hurting too much during practice, like absolutely, you can always opt out to come into a tabletop or a child's pose instead of staying in down dog. I think really just listen to your body.
Yeah.
Let me just look quickly at what I have semi-planned. Always.
I will definitely work.
Yeah, this is not a very heavy arm class, so that'll be good. And I think if
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you have any kind of like arnica, or they make them in like the little pellets or the cream, that's like a really great product to use for muscle soreness. Because I've also had that a lot, and that pain that goes up to here.
It's really weird. I usually don't have aches and pains, so I was like, what is?
Oh yeah.
I
mean,
use salon paws. But I think arnica is probably better, so I'll get that.
Yeah, and you can find that at CVS nowadays,
right?
Which is so nice.
Yeah. Very specific.
Yeah.
Right there.
As a dancer, I've had like a gazillion injuries. My friends and I, we call ourselves like wounded warriors. So I'm like, oh yes, I know that pain. That's like somewhere like mid tricep that goes all the way into the back of the scapula.
It's very odd because it's dull here and then once in a while sharp back there.
Yeah. And what else could help is if you get a tennis ball and kind of put it in the back of the scapula and then softly roll up against a wall with it.
Yeah.
That could help a lot too.
I used to have one of those rollers for when you're trying to loosen the fascia.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where it is. So I'll use something.
Yeah, tennis balls work great.
That's easier.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Well, if I look weird, that's what's going on. Am I the only one today?
You are the only one. I mean, we're recording, so they'll send this out to everybody, but you're the only one for today. Great, you get a little private.
Yeah, thank you.
So for class today, I have planned some more twists of the spine. And when we twist in the spine, specifically in yoga, it's really a way to relieve stress and anxiety, which has been, and I think I can safely say this, has been pent up a lot from this week. And with twists, it's really this moment of kind of like twisting the spine of this like inner reflection. And this week was like extremely heavy. Like this whole year has been heavy, but 2020 that was. And for me, yoga is it's personal and it's political, because what we practice through our asanas, our qualities that we really want to take off the mat, these qualities that are inner reflective, bringing ourselves to our highest self for us, for our community at large. And so I love to think that what's going on in the world, I can sometimes like place myself on my mat and breathe in my body and try to like ground myself and know that there is still so much work to do. And know that my practice, my physical practice, is here to help me, you know, place myself in how I want to show up in the world, and how where is my highest self, and how I can do that for me and for my family and friends, and really for everyone else. So with that in mind, let's close our eyes. You can find yourself in a nice, comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like to you. Allow your hands to softly touch your knees, or have one hand on top of the other. Maybe even bring your hands to your heart center. And just find your breath. I can imagine that many of us were holding our breath this week. So take a moment to soften in the nervous system and take a few nice deep inhales and exhales. Unclenching the jaw. Softening in the throat, softening in the belly, softening in the hips. And noticing that with each inhale, the spine gets a little bit taller. And with each exhale, we soften and descend towards the earth. So this really beautiful action of rising and falling. The most intimate relationship we can have with ourselves is one with our breath. This amazing vital force that connects us and interconnects us to the world, to the people around us. Noticing that we are all intrinsically connected. And as we gaze inward into our bodies, into ourselves and our practice, we practice being steady, being vigilant, awake and aware. These amazing qualities that we want to take off our mat and into our daily lives. You can bring your hands in Anjali Mudra and heart center. Press your palms together and bow your head down. Take one of the deepest breaths you've had all week. And open up the mouth and sigh it out. Take 2 more breaths like that, the deepest breath you've had all week. And open up the mouth and moan, scream, sigh it out, whatever you need. One more time, just like that. Bow your head down as a sign of reverence. We bow down to our brilliance, to our divinity, to our light, as we stretch and align ourselves into our physical practice. Softly open up the eyes, and we'll start in a tabletop position. I'm going to start the music. So let's start in a nice tabletop position. always, first and foremost, connecting ourselves to our breath. So really root the inner edges of the hands down, flex the toes, and hug the inner thighs towards one another. You're gonna really feel the abdominals light on here. Take a nice deep inhale in, and exhale, round the spine. Inhale, lift and lengthen, curve. And we'll just do a few rounds of cat-cow on your own timing, linking breath and movement. Noticing how you're feeling in your body right now. What feels tight, a little creaky or crunchy. And allow your breath to soften inside those spaces. If you like to linger in any part of your cat-cow, you can go ahead and do so, or maybe do a few circles. Again, your practice is here to serve you. So listen to your body, listen to your breath. At the bottom of your next exhalation, come back to a nice neutral spine and tabletop. Hug the forearms towards one another and lift the knees up an inch off the mat, hovering table. Plug the head of the shoulder bone back and soften in between the shoulders. Soften the throat. Take one last inhale in. And exhale, drop the knees down. Press the hips back for puppy pose. Make sure the feet are still flexed here. Allow your hands to root into the earth as you press down and the hips move back towards your heels. Allow the forehead to soften into the earth. And as we begin our practice today, just take a moment right now to think of an intention for your class, for your day today. What do you need to get out of this? Take one last inhale in, and exhale, float back up to a neutral tabletop position and come into your first down dog of the day. Pedal out the feet. Root the knuckles down into your mat. Bend both knees and press the hips back like you're sitting in a little chair in the back of your mat. Keeping that straight in the legs. And look at the top of your mat. Bring your feet to the middle of the mat, your hands into the middle of the mat. Make your feet nice and wide, about the width of your mat, and come into a soft forward fold. You can have the knees slightly bent, the hips nice and soft. Good. Root the feet down to the ground and inhale the arms up high to the sky. Exhale, bend the knees, bend the hips, forward fold. We'll do this 2 more times, linking breath and movement. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the arms down. Last one. Inhale the arms up. Exhale the arms down. Inhale the arms up. And go ahead and grab your right wrist with your left hand and lean over to the left. Keep your feet nice and wide for right now, and think about weight continually pouring down the right leg. Soften the throat, getting a nice stretch in the side body and spreading the fingertips apart. Take another inhale in, and exhale, come up to center, switch your grip and lean over to the right side. Think about the weight pouring down the left leg. Soften the neck, bring the head back, throat back, and take nice deep inhales in the rib cage. And exhale, come back up to center. Bring the arms down by your side. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Press back into a downward facing dog. We'll move through one vinyasa here. Inhale, come to the top of a plank. Exhale, drop your knees. And because you have a little bit of pain in your shoulder, I just want to break down chaturanga because it's super important that the shoulders don't round forward. So take a moment, think about the head of the shoulder bone moving back into the back. Yes, great. You feel how your neck kind of lengthens there? Yeah, we're kind of like crunched like this on our screens and computers, right? We're all, we all have that nice little habit. So plug the head of the shoulder bone back, soften in between the shoulder blades, and then root the inner edges of the hands down. Hug the inner thighs towards one another and bend the elbows wider than the rib cage and think about the heart moving forward. Whew, that's a chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Nice, that was great, Katie. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look at the top of your mat and step or jump to the front of your mat. Look down at your feet, make sure the knees are over the big toes, and exhale the arms bicep over the ears for chair pose. Sit back into the back of your mat like you're sitting in a little chair and shoot energy out the fingertips and out the sit bones. Bring the belly button to the back of the spine, rib cage to the back of the spine. Whew. Exhale, bend the elbows, goalpost arms, opening up the shoulders here. Inhale, straight, sit a little bit deeper. One more. Exhale, bend the elbows, spread the fingertips apart. Exhale, straighten. And inhale, straighten the legs, lift the arms back for a little arch. And exhale, bring the arms down by your side. Face the palms front, coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a moment, feel your heart beating. Energetically hug the ankles towards one another. Bring the throat back, head back. Shoulders up, back, and together. Tadasana. Inhale the arms high to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, root the arms down, press back into a downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg high to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Nice. Turn the back foot down. Make sure that that the toes are facing in towards the mat so we get that nice internal rotation. Take a nice deep inhale in as you hug the legs in towards one another and bring the right forearm to the right thigh and sweep the left arm right beside you for pars of a K, extended side angle. Make sure that your knee is over your big toe. Take another inhale in and just check on this right shoulder. Are we sinking down or are we allowing the head of the shoulder bone to move back? Take another deep inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale, bring the arms parallel to the mat, coming into a warrior two. Looking out to a drishti, a place right in front of you to balance and softly gaze forward. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Think about the right foot moving parallel. Interlace your hands in the back. Really think about ripping the fingertips apart and energetically hug the legs in towards one another, keeping that. Lift the heart up and bend forward for a wide side angle stretch. Soften at the knees, soften at the hips, whatever you need. Really pull the fingertips away from one another. Opening up the shoulders. Hug the legs in. Take another inhale in. And exhale, slowly let the fingertips go. Bend the knees and slowly roll up the spine. Taking your time. Turn the feet on the left side, facing the back of your mat here. Bend the left knee. Yep, there you go. And bring the left forearm down to your left thigh and sweep the right hand bicep over the ear. Pars Vichai on the other side. Yeah, and if that arm's bothering you in this position, you can just bring your hand on your hip. Yeah, or keep it nice and long right beside you. Just make sure that the head of both shoulders are moving back. Great. Take another inhale in as you breathe into the side body, shooting energy out the head. And exhale, bring the arms parallel to your mat for warrior two. Hug the legs in towards one another. Take a nice deep inhale in as you gather energy up the limbs to the core of the pelvis. Keeping that root back down as you shoot energy out the fingertips, out the crown of the head. Warrior two. Feel the strength of this pose, the strength of your legs supporting you. Exhale, straighten the front leg. Turn the left toes to a parallel position. Bring your hands to your hips. We're going to come into another wide side angle stretch, and we'll do some soft twists. So really think about engaging the legs towards one another, as if you want to like squinch up the middle of your mat. You can really feel the back of your thighs engage, your inner leg here. So keeping that, take a nice deep inhale in as you lift the shoulders up, back, and together. Exhale, forward fold. Bring the left hand down into the middle of the mat. And you might just stay exactly here. Make sure that both hips feel center and that you're not putting all of your weight down into the right leg. If you want, you can even bring the left hand even a little bit farther out. And then softly twist to the right. You can keep your hand on your hip or lift the right arm up. Just notice where the weight of the legs are going. Really hug the inner thighs towards one another. Take another inhale in. Exhale out. Inhale, slowly come back to center. Bring your right arm down. Switch the palms and take your time here. Really root the inner edges of the right hand down into the ground and then softly twist over to the left side, keeping your hand on your hip or bringing the hand all the way up high to the sky. Hug the legs in, pull the shoulder bones back. Take a nice deep inhale in as you spiral softly towards the ceiling. Take another inhale in. And exhale, slowly bring that hand down. Turn your right toes to the front of your mat and just allow your hands to crawl back to a lunge position and press back into a downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths here. Inhale, gather energy up the limbs to the bottom of the heart. Keeping that root back down to the arms and legs as you stretch your thighs back, softening the heels towards the ground. Downward facing dog. Inhale, come to the top of a plank, pull the shoulder bones back, drop the knees, and bend the elbows wider than the rib cage, heart moving forward. Take your time. Inhale, flick your toenails down into the mat, and exhale, lift and lengthen the heart up for cobra. Inhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up high to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Drop the back knee down. You know what? I'm going to grab a block quickly. So right leg is in front, left knee is down. And I'm going to have a block right for my left hand here. Really hug the inner legs towards one another. Flex this back foot and exhale, twist the right arm up. Shoulder bones moving back. Take a nice deep inhale in as the shoulders move back, supporting the back of the heart, allowing the heart to open a little bit more. Remember, first and foremost, finding your breath, opening yourself to grace. Take another inhale in. And exhale, bring the right hand down. We'll come back. You can either move through a downward facing dog or press into a tabletop position and then switch over to your left foot, whatever is easier for you. And moving over to the other side, bring the block right underneath your right hand. Root the left foot down, hug the legs in towards one another, and twist the left arm up. Nice. Soften in between the shoulder blades. Make sure that knee is over the big toe. Good. You can imagine the spine or the rib cage like a towel. You're twisting the water out of the towel, softening into the vertebrae. I like to think my joints as marshmallow joints, something that's soft but very buoyant. So just think about soft marshmallows in each vertebrae and each of the shoulder bones. Exhale, come back to the center of your mat and press back into a downward facing dog. Take another inhale in, exhaling out. Take one more breath, inhale in. And at the bottom of your next exhalation, lift the right leg up high to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Drop the back knee down. So you can, let's see here. Just want to make sure I give some variations. Hug the legs in towards one another. Bring your hands onto your right leg. Good, and you can absolutely stay here if this is enough for balancing. Make sure that your front knee is over the big toe. Otherwise, lift your left hand up and then slide it over the back of the right thigh. Yes, good. Come into prayer position with the arms, pressing the palms in towards one another. Take a nice deep inhale in as you lift the shoulder bones up, back, and together. Imagine the heart moving towards the ceiling. If this feels good to you, you can stay here or lift the back knee up for a little bit more balancing. Just really check out that front knee. Make sure the knee's over the big toe. Do whatever feels good to you. Listen to your breath. Listen to your body. Take another inhale in. And exhale, bring the arms back to the front thigh. And place the hands back down into your mat. Press back into a downward facing dog. Notice the difference between each side. Breathing in here. Inhale the left leg high to the sky. Exhale, catch your lunge. Drop the back knee down. You know where we're going. Really root the big toe mound down into the ground. Hug the legs in towards one another. Bring the hands onto the thigh. You can absolutely stay here or plug the right elbow in to the outside of the right thigh. And then come into a heart position, prayer position, pressing the palms in towards one another. Shoulder bones moving back. And softly using your breath to twist you a little bit more. Take another inhale in, and absolutely you can stay here or lift that back thigh up. Whatever you do, make sure that knee is going over the big toe. Take another inhale in. And exhale, unwind. Bring the hands back to the thigh. Back towards your mat. Press back into a downward facing dog. Notice the difference between each side. The shoulder blades, the sides of the body. You can absolutely stay here for 2 rounds of breath or move through Vinyasa. Plug the shoulder bones back in Chaturanga. Plug the shoulder bones back in Cobra. And exhale, we'll all meet back down into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up high to the sky. Exhale, find pigeon on the right side. So your foot is right underneath your left wrist. You can come on top of your fingertips. Oh, right, and if that is too much for you, for anyone, you can absolutely come to sit and find a good figure 4. Yeah, you can either lay on your back if that feels good to you, if you feel like you can get a deeper stretch there, or you can come to sit here, bring your hands to the back of your fingertips, or come to lay on your back and grab your back knee here. Good, so wherever you are is exactly where you need to be. Everybody flex the feet. If you're in a figure 4, you can press your right foot into the thigh, and the hands that are interlaced, really press them into your thigh. Thigh into your hands. Hug the legs in towards one another. And soften in the hips. If it feels good, you can stretch the left leg up. Yeah, great. Hugging the legs in. And everyone bring the belly button to the back of the spine, rib cage to the back of the spine, soften in the throat. Take 2 rounds of breath on your own timing. And exhale, slowly bring that foot down. Move into a downward facing dog. If you need to, get into pigeon on the other side, or just switch the legs for figure 4. Again, with the hands interlaced behind the thigh, press the thigh into the interlaced hands, hands into the thigh. Flex both feet. And take a nice deep inhale in as you hug the legs in towards one another. You feel the abdominals light on fire. And exhale, soften in the throat. Taking 2 rounds of breath. Finding your own rhythm, your own breath. Take another inhale in. And exhale, slowly let that foot come back down to the earth. Roll onto one side. Press back up into a nice tabletop position. And into downward facing dog. Notice the difference in the hip style, how you might feel a little bit more room to sit the hips back further. Inhale, look at the top of your mat, step or jump, or bring your hands to the center, feet towards the center to meet you. Inhale the arms up. And exhale the arms right down beside you for Tadasana. Look down at your feet, bring your hands to your hips, and step your right foot back. Good. And I'm gonna come onto the ball of my foot. So instead of thinking about my heel down, I'm gonna come on the ball of my foot. I'm gonna take a nice wide stance. And if you have 2 blocks, you can bring them right beside your foot, or you can bring, if you only have one, bring it on the right side. And if you don't have any, you can absolutely go ahead and grab a shoebox or a roll of toilet paper, whatever you got. Take a nice deep inhale in as you hug the legs in towards one another, helping you find some balance here. Lift your right arm nice and high, and exhale, lean forward as you find your right block. So coming into pyramid. Yeah, so really come on the ball of that back foot. Think about the right hip bone moving down towards the mat. And you can absolutely stay here, or maybe lift the left arm high to the sky. Yes, revolved triangle. Making sure the right shoulder bone is moving back. And take a nice deep inhale in. Exhale out. Take another breath. Inhale in. And exhale, bring your hand back down to your hip. Bend the front knee, bring your hand to the mat, your other hand to the mat, and press back into a downward facing dog. Notice the difference between each side. You can stay here or move through Vinyasa, yogi's choice. Again, in each moment, find your breath, find the integrity of your breath. And inhale, look at the top of your mat, step or jump. Inhale the arms up high to the sky, and exhale the arms back down to Tadasana. Again, bring your hands on your hips, and this time step your left foot back. So coming onto the other side for pyramid. And again, bring your blocks two right beside you, or more specifically, one on the left side. Come onto the ball of your left foot, hug the legs in towards one another. And already here, can you think about the left hip bone moving towards the front of your wall? Inhale the left arm up, and exhale, reach forward all the way out to your block. Again, you can stay here. If you have your other block right beside you, you can absolutely just hold on to both blocks. It just feels like a lot of balancing. Make sure that the knee is over the big toe, and take a nice deep inhale in as you root the left hand into your block, and exhale the right arm up. Allowing your breath to soften in between the shoulder blades. And if your knee is bent on the right side, you can play with straightening that leg. Take another round of breath. Inhaling, hugging the legs towards one another, and exhaling, shooting energy out the fingertips. Take one last breath in, and exhale, slowly bring your hand back to the mat. Bend the front knee, and press back into a downward facing dog. Notice any difference between each side of the body. Notice how you're feeling and where you're feeling it. Take another inhale in, and exhale, drop the knees towards the mat. Come to sit on your butt, and we'll roll down onto our backs. You can allow your hands to be nice and long, and we'll just windshield wiper the knees from side to side. Taking the time to feel the weight pass through the hips, slowing down the breath, softening in the throat. And at the bottom of your next exhalation, you can bring your feet to a nice parallel position. And so I go ahead and grab your block. We're gonna come into a supported bridge because it just feels so good and relaxing. Go ahead and grab your block, bring it on the horizontal side, and just lift your hips up and have your hips sit on the pelvis or on the block. Bring your arms nice and long. You can sort of play around with this and see what feels best for you to relax. You can keep your feet parallel or widen your feet a little bit and knock your knees in. Yeah, whatever feels good to you. Close your eyes. Feel the weight of the legs pour down into the earth, pour down into the pelvis, into the block. Soften around the neck. Take 2 more rounds of breath. Softening where you need to soften. And exhale, you can slide the block out underneath you and we'll slowly move our way to Shavasana. Taking any last pose you might like to do, hugging the knees towards the chest, taking a quick supine twist or happy baby. Maybe add on a few more layers if you like. And allow your legs to softly come back onto your mat, nice and long. Your arms can be right beside you, palms facing up or palms facing down. Maybe you have one hand on your heart center, one hand on your belly. Allow the eyes to soften in their sockets. Feel the breath in the back body, illuminating the three-dimensional structure that we live in. Take another sweet breath in and whisper the breath out. And slowly come back to a nice seated position. And keep your eyes nice and closed, rooting your sit bones down into the earth. Bring your hands in heart position, bow your head down. I bow down to your brilliance and your divinity and your light in this world. I hope you have a great rest of your week and weekend. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste. Thanks for coming, Katie. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you, Katie. Privilege. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been